Well, City of New Orleans leaders plan to install new gates along Bourbon Street to prevent vehicle attacks. Chris Joseph reports city security leaders, though, say this could be a permanent solution.
Yeah, to clarify here, they're weighing a plan. No decision has been made. Right now, the city is using bollards to protect people walking on Bourbon Street. City leaders say those bollards have been a temporary solution, but they are inefficient. The public safety leaders presented this model of a swing gate to a city council committee this morning. They allow one person to open and close, and city leaders say that these gates have a stronger crash rating against would-be attackers. Now, the leaders proposed placing the gates along Bourbon Street to allow that side street traffic, but they did not address any change in timing of when the barriers would open and close. Again, the council did not vote on this measure. It was purely discussion. Several council members suggested that the city leaders speak with the incoming administration about the plans. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much.